Hey everybody, Arnaldo here, broadcasting from Fidelius Frequency. Welcome to my channel. Halloween is quickly approaching, and I have a recommendation for the perfect Halloween party soundtrack album. That would be the new album by Duran Duran called Danse Macabre. Before we get into talking a little bit about what this album is, I'd like to show you a quick unboxing video of all the various configurations and formats that are available of this album. So I will see you back in a few minutes after a spooky presentation of Danse Macabre by Duran Duran. Danse Macabre is the 16th studio album by Duran Duran. It wasn't originally intended to be a studio album. And let me tell you a little about the origin of this album. A year ago, almost to the date, October 31st of 2022, Duran Duran had a special show in Las Vegas where they decided to just have fun, celebrate Halloween, which is Nick Rhodes' favorite holiday. They decided to dress up and perform a set list that was unusual for them. So they decided to kind of like have a Halloween theme for the occasion, pulled out some deep cuts from their catalog, and did a whole bunch of cover versions. Out of that idea was born Danse Macabre, because subsequent to that show, which they were pleased with, they started tossing around the idea of actually maybe putting together an album with a Halloween theme. This is their Halloween album, if you want to call it. And based on what the band says, it was just an album that you should have fun with. An album that you would play at a Halloween party, because not only does it blend old songs, reinterpreted, it also has 3 new tracks, and a bunch of cover versions of very known songs. So let's get into the 3 new tracks. The first one is Black Moonlight. It was the lead-off single that launched the album. It sees the return of the collaboration with Nile Rodgers, who co-writes, produces, and plays on the track. Kind of like a glam, funky song. Then we have the second song is Danse Macabre, more of a synth-heavy, maybe a little goth-influenced song. And the closer of the album is Confessions in the Afterlife, which is my favorite song of the 3 new songs. Kind of a moody, somber atmosphere. I don't want to say spooky, but a slow song, not necessarily a ballad, very atmospheric, and I think is the perfect closer to the album. So in addition to Nile Rodgers coming back, there were 2 past guitar players that were invited to play on reworkings and on some of the cover versions of the songs that they have on this album. First is Warren Cucurullo. He took Andy Taylor's place after Andy Taylor left, and Love Voodoo is reworked. That was a track he had worked on for the believe it was the Wedding album. And then we have the welcome return of Andy Taylor on almost all the songs of the album. I want to say he plays on 60 or 70% of the album. Great contribution on behalf of Andy, because he played on the original tracks and he had a lot of fun with the cover versions that Duran Duran chose. First of all, they get into of the deep cuts. They start off the album with Night Boat, which is a track that Duran Duran usually started off. They started off the Halloween show with that track and used to start off some of their earlier shows with that song Night Boat. And I actually prefer the reworking, the new version of Night Boat, to the original. There's a different atmosphere. It has a darker tone, and I think it fits perfectly in this album, and especially as the opening track for the album. Then an obscure B-side from the Seven and the Ragged Tiger era, the B-side to Union of the Snake, called Secret October, which here is renamed Secret October 31st to give it kind of like a Halloween theme. Then we have a bunch of covers. Most of them, I think all of them, were featured in the concert from a year ago. And some, I would say the one that is the most original take of the cover versions is Bury a Friend, the track by Billie Eilish. Very different from Billie Eilish's version, especially in the vocal performance by Simon Le Bon, who, by the way, still can hit those notes. Seen them live just a few weeks ago, and they still sound great. The band is very tight, and Simon Le Bon's voice is in top shape, and you can witness that also on the album. Supernature by Cerrone, then Ghost Town by The Specials, which necessarily Ghost Town wasn't a Halloween song, but it kind of fits in this. They try to tackle Paint It Black with a different kind of vocal melody and slightly altered lyrics by the Rolling Stones. And then they do a very interesting thing. Lonely in Your Nightmare was a track from, I believe, Rio from Duran Duran. And they mash it up, and it's something they had been doing already in concert with Super Freak by Rick James. It's kind of a cool mashup. I don't know if it works 100%, but it's kind of cool to listen to. Very faithful to the original, minus, of course, Susie Sue's voice is Spellbound. And I think the second best cover on the album is Psycho Killer by the Talking Heads. Features guest bass player Victoria De Angelis from the Italian band Måneskin, who was invited by John Taylor because they had met earlier in the year, or maybe last year. They bonded over their love of Tina Weymouth, the bass player by Talking Heads, and thought that since they were doing a Talking Head song, he reached out to her and invited her to play on the track, and she does not disappoint. So there's actually 2 bass players on that track. Final thoughts. Fun album. Definitely, I could see the intention of what the idea and the inspiration to make this album. Play it at Halloween. It'll fit in perfectly with the theme of Halloween. If you're a Duran Duran fan, obviously you want to get this because it's a great addition to their catalog. Is it an essential Duran Duran album? Maybe not, but it's definitely a fun album. I enjoyed it. Love the artwork. Just wanted to mention that this is actually a picture that Nick Rhodes acquired at an auction, and it was taken at a real seance. So that's quite interesting that they use that as the album artwork. I guess that wraps it up for now for Duran's Danse Macabre. Check it out, play it at Halloween, stream it at Halloween. I think it'll fit in perfectly with your party. And thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It does not cost you anything. Click the notification button so that you will be alerted of any future videos that I will prepare. And I guess that's it. Have a happy Halloween, and I will see you on the next one.